Salute.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's have our roll call.
Mayor Mashaki,
Here.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Here.
Mr. Costa,
Here.
Ms. Schneider,
Here.
and Mr. Klaus.
Here.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
That's the regular
Who's
minutes
the
I'm talking
second,
about.
Jerry?
Jerry, I think, seconded.
Yeah. Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Ms. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the executive session minutes? And these are both for the October 8th, 2019 meeting.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki.
Yes. We have our reports, a tax collector's report, code enforcement report, fire official, construction, and emergency services report, all for October of 2019. Is there a motion to accept those reports?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Ms. Schneider.
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore.
Yes.
Mr. Costa.
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki.
Yes. That takes us to our first public participation session. This session is for agenda items only. And I see a hand up on the right. Anna?
Hi there, Anna Evans, 63 Parry Drive. Got a couple of things. Ordinance 2019-11 to enter into financial agreement with Hainesport Commerce Centre Urban Renewal. Is this now final, that we're going ahead with the warehouse, assuming that it gets its final adoption?
If it gets to that point, yes.
And what is the tax abatement for the development company?
Well,
Those specifics have not been finalized.
Okay.
We do need to get this on the agenda for tonight for just introduction. Our goal is to get to that point before the next meeting, and if those specific terms are not agreed upon, then we'll have to renew the process in 2020.
Sounds good. Okay, second thing, Resolution 2019-163-11. This amendment to the Hainesport Township Employee Handbook sounds like it's a new section. Is that correct? That it's a new section that hasn't existed before?
It's not a new section, but it's a new portion of that particular section, correct?
Okay. Does it cover political activity? Is that the purpose of it?
No.
Okay. Can I get the wording of it after the meeting?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Finally, Resolution 2019-164-11, Study Commission to review the Open Public Records Act. The Open Public Records Act is working absolutely fine for me in my pursuit of transparency, so I'm interested into what purpose we are deciding to review it.
Well, actually, I think this came from Trenton, correct? There is a movement in Trenton for the town, all the municipalities to streamline that process.
So it's
And we were
just
just asked to participate. That's
the
all we're doing.
documentation, the form might change, something like that?
Right, things may, the procedures might change, but the access will not.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I mean, I don't know if they will change, that's what we're looking into. I should correct myself. Gentleman, right there.
Good evening. My name is Louis Lopez. I live in 98 Lovers Drive, that's in Mount Holly. Hoping to complete detail on 2019-163-11. If after the meeting, if I would like to have more information on that issue. And congratulations to all our new committee who won the seat. And one more question I have for Resolution 2019-161-11.
Okay. So can I,
Do you want to address that, sure?
sure, okay. Can I address your first question?
Yes.
Which was regarding Resolution 2019-163-11? Okay, so that is basically requesting the governing body to consider adding to our workplace policies, Section 2, for electronic device and recording of within closed session meetings as well as between, among employees, supervisors, and administrators. Basically, it's with regards to surreptitious recording amongst employees outside of closed session and within internal meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
Sure. Okay. And then the next question was 16111?
Yeah.
Lewis? Okay. Sorry, let me get to that, please. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that is requesting the Joint Land Use Board to conduct an investigation on specific parcels of land along Route 38 and Fostertown Road, as well as Hainesport Mount Laurel Road, to see if those areas are areas in need of redevelopment or areas in need of rehabilitation.
I have a question for the whole township. If someone donate, enough money to create a police station, what's the process? If you got the fund, what's the process? What's the next process? If you get the fund, I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, to get the funds for what,
No,
Mr.
create a
Lopez?
police station right here for Hainesport. If you get that enough money, what's the next step to that one?
Okay.
I'm just, a cool question.
Well, we would need to, first of all, we need to get an ordinance in place directing the committee to begin the process to formulate a police department. But we haven't considered that. Is there a reason why you're asking the question?
No, just, if I win to help out our Burlington County community have its own, police station, like, if we, win a large amount of money, help out, the next community, have its own police station. Just extra precaution,
Well, we have a...
you can have more than one, if you have a billionaire who donate money, but donate money to create a police station right here in Hainesport.
So we do have a substation here already in
Oh.
Hainesport for the state police.
Oh, okay.
State police have a substation here. For Hainesport to form and employ police officers to form its own police department, it's going to cost an extraordinary amount of money for the town. I mean, we're in no position to afford,
No,
even
it's not.
contemplate doing that.
It's not usual for a person who would donate, their money, to give up, to,
We would have to get a study to put together to find out what the cost of that would be. I would be only guessing as to what the ultimate cost of a police department with a police station would be for this town.
that would be a cost, right, for that study?
Yes.
You know, like, the amount? Do you know?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else with regard to agenda items? Okay. All right, we have something for discussion and presentation. Paula?
Sure. So we're applying for an EPA cleanup grant as well as a community-wide assessment grant, which we applied for last year. Unfortunately, we were not selected. But this year, in addition to the CWA grant, the governing body has authorized application for a brownfields cleanup grant. I'm going to read off the public notice just to give everybody an idea of what this grant is. It's for the property formerly operated by Paul's Tank Cleaning Service in accordance with EPA's community notification policies. A community meeting needs to be held to discuss the grant application and to solicit comments from the public and the proposed use of funds. Tonight, right now, is the public hearing on that. We do have copies of the draft application here, and they will be made available to the public through the 22nd of November. If anybody has any written questions, or if I'm unable to answer anything tonight, you can always write that down, and I can forward that to BRS, who is the company that we have hired to make that application on behalf of the township. It is due the beginning of December. I believe it is December 3rd. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. That takes us to ordinances. Ordinance,
I'm sorry, if we could offer anybody,
Oh, I'm
if
sorry.
they would like to
go right ahead. Anyone
comment or have any
questions or
questions.
comments about Paula's presentation? Going once, twice? Okay. Ordinances. Ordinance 2019-10 to provide for and determine the rate of compensation of officials and employees for the Township of Hainesport. This is the first reading. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2019-10 first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Ordinance 2019-11 to enter into a financial agreement with Hainesport Commerce Center Urban Renewal LLC. Again, this is the first reading. Is there a motion considering this is the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Ordinance 2019-12, authorizing the execution of easement granting and accepting rights in public and private property. Again, this is a first reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-158-11, authorizing transfers of funds during the last 2 months of the current fiscal year and the first 3 months of the subsequent year. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-159-11, rescinding Resolution 2018-164-12, which authorized the purchase of a command vehicle with emergency equipment for the Hainesport Fire Company. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sorry.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-160-11, authorizing a shared service agreement between the County of Burlington and the Township of Hainesport for various services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-161-11, authorizing and directing the Joint Land Use Board to cause a preliminary investigation to be made pursuant to the New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law as to whether certain areas along Route 38, Masonville, Fostertown Road, Hainesport Mount Laurel Road, and specifically blocks 103.01, lots 1, lot 2, lot 2.01, lots 8, 9, 10, and 10.01, block 103.02, lots 1, 1.01, 5.01, 7, 7.01, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Block 113, Lot 4.05 within the township are areas in need of redevelopment or areas in need of rehabilitation within the meaning and intendment of said statute. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-162-11, authorizing a contract for fire prevention software updates. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-163-11, authorizing an amendment to the Hainesport Township Employee Handbook to provide for electronic device and recording provide for an electronic device and recording policy. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-164-11, calling for a study commission to review the Open Public Records Act. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-165-11, authorizing the purchase of a 2019 F-250 four-wheel drive truck with snowplow.
So moved. Oh, second.
Who was first?
Jerry. Mr.
Jerry.
Jerry?
Jerry was first.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Okay, this is public participation once again, and it's open season, so who wants to go first? I saw his hand goes up. Anna.
Hello, Anna Evans, 63 Parry Drive. This is something I like to bring up periodically. Every time somebody moves into the township, it seems that they're all over the township Facebook group complaining about the outrageous MHMUA sewage bills. And I know that it is something that pretty much all of you who are out there ran on, like confronting the MHMUA and trying to do something about it. And the last time I think I brought it up, somebody said something about a lawsuit, then we had to see how that panned out. So I'm just asking once again, for the sake of all of the residents of Hainesport and the other towns, can we do something? Are we doing something? Because we are currently paying the highest rates for sewage in South Jersey.
Let me answer that for you, Anna, see if this, hopefully this addresses your concerns. The arrangement with the Mount Holly MUA is contractual one that was passed by the Township Committee some 20 years ago, I think it was. And we were bound for a 30-year period, so we're stuck for at least another 10 years or so in that contract, and there is no wiggle room out of it, at least from a legal perspective. And we did look at it, John looked at it, and that was John's conclusion. But there have been certain billing issues that have come up with the MUA, whereby if people don't pay the bill, they file a tax lien and try to get their money that way by exercising their rights under that lien. Now, if a resident comes to us and says, hey, I don't think I've been billed fairly, we will step in and we reserve the right not to enforce that lien or accept the lien. And that's been helpful for a few people in our town, so that they gave them at least some bargaining room to go back to the MHMUA and try to resolve the problem. Some of them resolved in litigation, but didn't work out too well for the authority. So that's one way where we're trying to help out. You know, if we're stuck in this contract and it's a one-sided contract, then we're going to do what we can within the law to help our residents out. And that's what we've been doing.
And that's great, but I guess I would need to consult somebody legally myself, but a contract that was signed, you say 20 years ago, that we're stuck in for another 10 years, if we don't have any legal recourse, is there some sort of utility watchdog that we could engage with, because these rates are just so egregiously unfair?
I'll defer to council, but I don't think the Utility Commission governs the MUA. I think if you have a problem with your utility billing and you want to complain to the Utility Commission for redress, for some reason, I think the statute exempts.
Yeah, I'm just, rather than attacking it from a legal perspective, they're clearly price gouging us. And is there some way that we can get some oversight from a state perspective to address that issue?
Well, the state hasn't provided an oversight mechanism within which to do that, but that's something we can certainly look into.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Woman in the front row.
Angela Shively, 117 Pennsylvania Ave. We are here on behalf of Be the Voice of John Dog and our continued effort to have contracts terminated with the Animal Control Officer, New Jersey Animal Control LLC. You guys are all aware by now of, we've sent emails, we've had phone conversations. We're asking for a public update on where it stands with Hainesport Township and hopefully terminating their contract.
Well, I'm sure you're aware that there was a complaint filed with the West Hampton Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
The complaint is, and correct me if I'm wrong, alleges the mistreatment by the animal control officer with regard to the dog in question.
Mm-hmm.
It's my understanding that they did not find probable cause to charge that individual. So in probable cause, for those of you that don't know, simply means that the state would have to prove by a little bit greater than the 50-50 percentage that the accused committed a crime. And that a crime by the same percentage, by 50-50 percentage, that a crime was in fact committed. They didn't find that, and therefore they didn't charge him. Now, that's not to say that we're not unaware of what's going on, but his contract comes up at the end of this year. And we will be entertaining bids from other animal control services, and we will keep what's going on in mind when we have to make that decision.
Okay, well, just so we're all aware and it's on record, there have been 4 towns already that have terminated his contract prior to it ending based on that video and the evidence.
And there are towns that terminated it for other reasons unrelated to the video. But, you know, what happens in their towns, that's up to them to decide what to do. The allegations that relate to this animal control officer didn't happen in our town. And to the extent that they did not, he's in compliance with his contract with us. That doesn't mean we can't be blind to what's going on outside and around our town when it comes to the time for renewal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you stand up, sorry.
Sorry. Tammy Schuyler, 400 Buttonwood Street, Mount Holly. With the group of John Dog, I just want to say on behalf of John Dog that he needs a voice and we're here for him, and we understand that you have a good understanding of what's going on. But for the right side of animals, I just want it to be known that Charles Garrity, the animal control officer, in an animal advocate and also animal control officer, he was abusive towards this dog. And please do not forget that when you look at the upcoming contract.
I assure you we will keep all of that in mind.
Yes. I'm keeping everybody posted as everything that we do. We have a group. We have over 700 people in the group. We have a petition. We have almost 700 signatures on the petition. So if he continues to have contacts within Burlington County, we will continue to fight him being here.
That's fine, and I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone? Young lady in the front.
Hi, Carol Pickinger, 216 Cardinal Lane, Mount Holly. I just wanted to say that as the original owner of John Dog, AKA Oliver, I had him for the first time. It was never aggressive. He was very timid dog. If the other guys cowered or come up on him, he would follow me all over and cower me all around the house. He was never aggressive. I can honestly say that.
It's unusual for that type of breed to be aggressive. It's a border collie, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's part pit and part Shih Tzu, but he kind of looks
The new owner hasn't had a problem either.
good.
Right. And again, that's another factor we will remember. Anyone else? Okay. That takes us to comments from our administrator.
I have no comments tonight.
Oh, wow. That takes us to, I'm shocked, I'm stunned.
I should be happy, okay.
Comments from our solicitor.
Just want to say thank you all for having me again. I have to thank John for giving me another easy night here at Hainesport. I appreciate visiting and seeing you all again, and have a good night. Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you. Thanks for coming. And it's time for comments from the committee, and starting from my extreme right, we're going to start with Ted.
Thanks for coming in, everyone. Some of us had such great Halloween decorations on our homes. I was quite amazed. My wife and I would take a walk around the neighborhood. This one guy's lawn, I tell you, looked like something out of Six Flags Great Adventure. It was so good. So congratulations on those who decorated their houses. Say, a comment was made about the Mount Holly MUA, and that's been a contentious issue for a number of years. We have a great attorney. He did look into it. And it doesn't look good for challenging these things, but because I was interested myself, what I did was I got a copy of the contract for all the towns that are served by the MUA, just to compare them side by side. And Hainsport's a little different, I got to tell you. Hainesport owns our own fixtures for our lift stations and our pipes, things like that. In other towns, such as East Hampton, the Mount Holly MUA owns the actual fixtures, the pipes in the ground. So our situation may be a little different, and if I can find something, I'm going to bring it to the attention of our lawyer and see if we can hang a hat on it. But like I said, we got a good attorney, and so far we haven't found anything.
Anyway, hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. Leland?
Well, thank everybody for coming. Paula and I attended a roundtable discussion last month with the Vernon County Bridge Commission and came away with more good information to use on how to promote the available properties using our website, along with some other things, ways of promoting Hainesport. I would like to invite the committee and any seniors from Hainesport that are here to attend the November 21st meeting of the Senior Citizens Club at the Street Building. We will be honoring Nina Matson on the occasion of her 100th birthday. There will be cake. I also want to be sure to mention that the tree lighting ceremony will be on December the 6th at 6:30 here at the Township Building. That's it. Thank you.
Great. Lee?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Bruce McLaughlin and Leila Gilmore on their victory. I look forward to serving beside them. Excuse me. I would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Jerry?
On the sewer project, sometimes you don't hear what we do, but at one time, wasn't shortly after I was elected, I looked into fair and equal access. There is a law that says if you take government money, you got to give fair and equal access to the services. And we had looked into it, thought, okay, this is one we can win on. We can't. It's the amount you pay doesn't equal, that doesn't matter on fair and equal access. So we pay more. It doesn't mean we have less fair or equal access to the services. So it's not public we do that, but we look into a lot of things to try to find a way around it, and, we're still looking. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for coming out, and I want to congratulate all the candidates from Hainesport that ran for public office. It's not an easy thing to do. It could be a frustrating thing to do, but it was done in a dignified way, and Hainesport should be proud of all the candidates that ran in our town. I want to especially commend Lee. Lee ran a great campaign for Freeholder and did an excellent job and did it in a dignified manner. Congratulate Bruce and Leila on their victory. They conducted a great campaign as well. And our Democratic rivals, they did a great job. They had some great ideas, and those of you that have come to these meetings, well, this committee's been in existence. It's been our intent and our hope to implement any good idea from whatever source, because we know we're all here to try to benefit the town. So be safe going home. It's supposed to get icy, so be careful, and thank you for coming. There is no closed executive session tonight,
Let's just pay the bills.
so we just have to pay the bills. And so is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes.
And who wants to adjourn?
Who wants to make the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Aye.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Let's stay for a couple more hours. No, yes. This is nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming out.